Hi, I'm Shaun Reynolds.
And I'm Rachael Reynolds.
And welcome to What Was I Made For?
The podcast about doing what you love and prioritising your happiness.
While we aim to inspire, motivate and entertain you, please note that we're not licensed therapists or certified experts.
So if you're considering major life decisions like starting a llama farm or quitting your job to become a professional skydiving instructor, maybe get a second opinion.
Enjoy the show.
See, I just do what I want, do what I love. I don't wanna stop, don't wanna grow up. Just me being me, don't follow the crowd. Don't be a sheep, look at me now. But now it's time to make more, create more. Looking at the points, cause it's time to take score. Feeling like I'm grown now that I can face more. Got one question, what was I made for?
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to the final ever episode. Well, not ever episode. Episode of the season.
It's a healthy one.
Yeah, so as predicted, I think we predicted this in 2 episodes ago where we said after the show, Rach usually gets ill. I think we both had a bit of COVID, to be honest.
Do you?
It's a guess, but...
Yeah, I don't know. But I felt as soon as I was driving home, I had such a moment on Sunday driving home.
From the show?
Yeah. The sun was like just setting by the time I left and the roads were empty because it was meant to be coming home. Did it?
No, it didn't. No.
And I was just in the car and I had this like overwhelming feeling of like contentment that it was done.
Right.
And I don't know, I wish I could bottle that feeling. I was a bit emotional.
Yeah, I know, you said that.
I was too tired to cry, but...
You called me and you said, first of all, you said, have you ordered the pizza yet?
I was so hungry. So on show week, I don't know about anybody else that was in it, but my stomach is all over the place. My appetite is completely suppressed. I feel like I'm constantly like shaky. It's a mixture of like nerves of actually having to perform and nerves of everything coming together and everything going smoothly and nothing going drastically wrong. So I think I love my food, you know, like I eat a lot. I can put a lot away.
Rach gets hangry too.
Yeah. Show week and maybe even the week before, I find it really hard to like eat much. Like I want to and I feel hungry, but...
You only get hangry when food's on your mind. I've noticed this. You can actually go a whole day without eating if you're focused on other things. As soon as you think about food and you're like in the zone where you're like, I need melted cheese, Rach is like, she needs food there and then in her face.
Yeah. And on the way home on the Sunday, I was like, I can finally eat. Like I'd pretty much lived off Huels the whole way through the weekend because it's the only thing I could like stomach and it filled me up just
and
about.
And there were just half open bottles of Huel in most rooms because Rach would start it then put it down because someone needed her and then run off. And
so on the way home, like I was ravenous and I said to you, I want you to order a disgusting amount of pizza, mac and cheese, all the sides, like the lot. And it took ages, didn't it? Probably because of the footy. And then when it finally got there, I was like ready to dig in. I think I managed like 2 slices of pizza and a spoonful of mac and cheese because
I don't know.
I think my stomach had is that a thing? Like everyone says that.
I don't know. No, I think you need to not eat for a long time for your stomach to shrink.
I'd literally not eaten for
like... Yeah, so when you called me up, you said, first of all, have you ordered the pizza because I need it right now? And then you said, I'm having a bit of a moment.
I was having a moment.
Like you said, the sun was setting.
It was just, it was definitely something to do with the fact that there was no cars on the road because everyone was watching the football because the kickoff had happened.
And although, it didn't come home, which, you know, the better team won in the end. And it was a bit disappointing for everybody who rushed home to see it. But... we did get to have a really great moment with the audience at the end of the show. I did love
that. It was reluctantly done because I was like, I'm not going to lie, I can say it now. The football has screwed me over this time round because of how it clashed with the show. And it's just like, we didn't get to do a second show on the Sunday because of it. There was the odd comment from some parents who were a bit like, can I leave in the interval? Which I was like, we're finishing 2 hours.
We finished
an
about
hour and a half.
Hour and a half, I'd say, before kick-off. Yeah.
Which I did on purpose, but apparently some people still left in the interval, which I'm going to say it's rude. It's rude to everybody who's in the second half because just maybe your child has performed, but there's plenty of other people who actually didn't get a ticket to see that whole show. So that was disappointing. But whatever, like, the majority of people stuck around.
And for everybody that did stay around, which is 98% of people, we had such a great moment at the end where Rach spoke to the tech guys and they played
It's Coming Home.
It's not called It's Coming Home. What is that song actually called?
Does anyone care though? Like, everyone knows it as It's Coming Home.
No, they don't.
Are you joking? I said, what did you say to the tech guys? Did you go, can you play It's Coming Home? Did they go, oh, I don't know that one, Shaun, what's that?
It's called Three Lions.
But did you say to Laurie, can you play It's Coming Home? And did he go,
I actually didn't ask him.
Yes, mate.
I actually didn't ask him.
I did.
Yeah, exactly. And you said, can you play It's Coming Home?
He went, yeah. Yeah, because everyone knows it as that.
Yeah, did you get an eye roll?
No, Laurie, I think, is into the football. Andy, the lighting guy, was not. So
Right.
I think he started packing up when we were all singing. But
that's why in the first half of the football, I was thinking about it, thinking like, our track record, England's track record in like international finals is not too good. And I'm not saying that I didn't believe that we could do it. I did believe that we could do it, but I thought just in case, the moment I captured of us all singing It's Coming Home with the whole audience,
yeah, it was lovely.
Needed to be posted on the story, otherwise it's going to fall on its arse and we're not going to be able to share it. It's going to be embarrassing if it doesn't come home, we share it afterwards.
Wow.
So it had to be shared during the game, otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
And it was a great moment. It's definitely one. And our first standing ovation before It's Coming Home came on.
And you know what? I would love to know who the man was.
Same.
There was one man, it's so embarrassing. It's like a show that I'm really big part of. And I didn't even stand up at the end because I was like...
I'm a little bit like... How have you never stood up? But you're usually
because
in the
it's
boxes.
a bit weird, isn't it? If I'm the only one that then just stands up at the end and I helped make it.
In all fairness, it felt more real that it wasn't someone like you.
Yeah, I'd love to know who that man was. I mean, he obviously knows someone enough in the show to buy the front row seat. He obviously,
I can find out, I think.
Find out, because I think maybe it was him and his a partner or wife or something like that.
I remember seeing him shoot straight up
He
out
stood
of his
up
chair.
and then it took, when there's that bit of like, it happens on the West End too, where a couple of people stand up and you're like, should I get up? Should I get up?
Do.
So then I'm like, I don't want to be the next guy to stand up because I'm involved in making the show. So I was like, I'm just going to suss this out and see if other people do. And then sure enough, one by one, people started getting up all over the audience. And I look round and everybody starts to get up. And I filmed that moment too.
And it's when I said, give it up one more time for the cast of 2024, wasn't it? That was the standing ovation. It was for...
I can't remember the exact moment.
I'm sure it was, because I remember like looking around at everyone like, that is because of how amazing
I'm totally
you are.
honest with you, Rach, it actually, in terms of what show was delivered on the Sunday compared to the Saturday, the mistakes were ironed out from the Saturday show, and Sunday show, I don't want to be the person to say it, but I actually think it was a relatively perfect show. From an audience perspective.
There was one mistake that I only found out about last week when the class told me.
What was it?
But you never would have known as the audience. So the boys are meant to start on stage.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that. But from an audience perspective, there would have been no way of knowing.
You would never ever have known, and it didn't ruin anything. But no, I think you might be right. That might have
Saturday
been
was full of little bits.
It wasn't full of little mistakes.
Well, the car didn't come on.
The biggest clangers
the bows were an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Everyone loves a disastrous bow.
Yeah, but that's almost what...
Do they?
That's almost what the Saturday is for. That's why I always say, whenever anyone asks, I'm always like, buy tickets for the Sunday, because by the Sunday, the mistakes of the Saturday have been ironed out.
It does always surprise me that Saturday sells out quicker. And I think
it's because people want to drink.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, Sunday, like everyone, there's like an air of it's the last time we're doing this. I think people just go a bit harder because on Saturday, I think there's probably an element of preserving something for the Sunday, like knowing you've got to do it all again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. I'm very proud of that one. I'm proud of all the teachers. I think it was their best work to date.
Yep.
I'm proud of all of the performers. Like the way I'm just in awe of them. The way that they've evolved and the way they present themselves now on stage, like, it is amazing. It's so professional. Yeah, bring on the next one.
I know. which we've already started planning.
We have started planning it, and
not intently, but
already, like,
because everybody always keep saying, you got to take a break, you got to take time off, and we are. But when it's fresh in your mind of what sort of was good and what was bad about the last show, it's the best time to start throwing ideas out there.
And also, our future selves always thank our past selves, because it would be so easy now to go, well, no one starts learning show material till January, so let's just take
leave
this
it, yeah.
But last year, because we had all of the soundtrack done by Christmas,
did we actually?
We definitely had. Yeah, because I remember
we played it to them in January, didn't we?
Yeah, everyone kind of found out their concepts in January, and I just think this is the time where you actually can just enjoy the creative process, because the deadline is so far away that actually this is the enjoyable bit, like to sit in the studio and have like Mel and Lucy and Mia around to kind of play around with their soundtrack. Oh, that's sad that I didn't say Joe. I didn't say Joe. He will always be a team member, but obviously he is now off on his...
Who knows? He might be back one day.
Oh, I think he knows the door's always open. Of course.
He'll definitely be back performing, but who knows if he'll be back to teach.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just think we should enjoy that creative process now. And like you said, it's important while the things that we didn't like so much are fresh in our minds, because then gives us the opportunity to iron them out. Yeah,
so actually, if there's any feedback on the show, send it to Rach and she'll be all ears.
I would love, like, we have had the most incredible messages sent to us by the dance school families, like messages of thanks more than anything, and a bit of feedback from parents who kind of volunteered their time and helped run the show. But I would love to know what numbers really spoke to the audience, because we get an element of finding out what the favourites were, don't we? But it would be nice to just hear like what really spoke to the audience and maybe what didn't so much.
There's usually a standout winner. This year, I don't think we had that. I think we had a good half a dozen routines that kept coming up as being everybody's favourites, which is good and they were all from different teachers across different age groups, which is unique, because usually we have a certain one or two that are the favourites, whereas this year that wasn't the case.
I'm very proud to say that I think one of the ones that got the most attention for the first time since launching the school was a crystals class, which is dancers aged 7 to 11. So they sort of sit in that middle ground of, it's when I feel like most kids maybe explore dance and then decide if it's for them or not.
It stops being like a kids club.
Yeah. And every year we've tried to find a way of making them not just sort of blend into the background or just be one of those numbers that people are like, oh yeah, what was that one? Do you know what I mean? And we tried, and I thought last year we did it a little bit better. But
last year was the police car one.
Yeah, with the big, like, we had all
a collaboration number.
Big collaboration. So there was loads of them on stage, and they had a really cool video at the beginning, and they had baseball bats, and they were like little rebels. And actually, it was good, but it still didn't get the audience's attention. And this year, I am so proud to say, and it's props to Mel, because she's had this class for a couple of years now, and they did a big Africa routine.
Yeah, I think with the music that we put together and the choreo that Mel put on I think it just turned into such a perfect routine.
It got so much attention, and it's just so nice that I think that's what I always strive to do, is it's so nice for each class to get their moment. I just loved it. It sounds really bad, but I'm quite content when it's done. I know some people get a real anticlimax, but I said this actually to, I think, Adult Lyrical on last Thursday, when a couple of them were like, we're just so sad that we're not going to do those routines anymore. And I said, the thing you have to remember though is, say we did like a week-long run of shows, I can guarantee you by the end you'd probably be a bit over it. Especially as it's a showcase where some of you are just in like that one number.
Yeah.
I said, in a way, isn't it nice that you're sad to leave it behind? It's always better to leave it wanting a little bit more than to be sick of it.
Yeah. But I spoke to quite a lot of the performers across the weekend, and like you said, the adults are really sad about it. Some of the kids are just excited because summer's around the corner.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the Wednesday Diamonds, who none of them really cared because it's not the end for them. They get to do this routine again at the O2.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when that's done, they've only got a couple of months and they're learning their new routine for the next show.
Yeah.
So they're in a really nice little situation this year. But it's I feel for the adults though, because they do put so much work into it, and then it's all kind of said and done, and then they move on to something else. So it is kind of, I get it. I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess it's just, for me, like the September to December term is so important because it's where classes create their bonds. It's where we get to really stick our teeth into some technique and some harder stuff. And I don't know, I think it's a nice little stopgap before you know it, we're going to be saying, Happy New Year, everybody. Right, do you want to sit down? I'm going to tell you your concept. It's ridiculous.
I think by the end of summer, we'll know the show.
Do you?
Not Inside Out. I think there would have been conversations with all the teachers about what they want to do for the next show, because I will have to sit with a lot of music and start piecing together playlists of what's going to be in the next show, because otherwise, if you want to have all the music done by Christmas, then these are things that have to be done ahead of time. But that maybe we should move on from the show now, because there is the future of something else at stake here, and that we should discuss, and that is this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're having a break.
We are going to have a break. We discussed keeping it going through summer.
I think we were just in the buzz of fitting it in. I think
so. And also, can I just say to anybody listening who featured on the last one, I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I feel like there's something in that, but I think it would end up being a dance school podcast. Like if we could have a little podcasting studio in one of our venues that people could just pop in and out and chat. But obviously that isn't why we launched this one. But yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback from people about them wanting it to just be us, but we still feel like there's so many people out there that have their stories to tell, to inspire. So we're going to take the break to discuss.
Maybe make some changes.
Yeah, like we definitely want it to feel like it's vamped up for, do you call it a season?
Yeah, this will be the end of the first season.
Yeah, so for season 2, we need to like spice it up.
And also, when we come
back,
back, or it could be over the summer, we will be launching the What Was I Made For mugs that I've been talking about for about 3 or 4 weeks. They're ready to go.
Just in time for Christmas.
The design is ready to go. I need to find the right supplier and stuff like that. It's all very boring stuff, but they will be there because some people asked me about them at the show. Yeah.
Oh, we've got so many things we've been discussing though for the school, and there's so much. That's why we need this break, guys, because we need to actually find the time.
I have a career to get back to.
What do you?
Yeah.
What's that then?
Some of you might not know that, but I do have to get back to my job. I had so many jobs that
I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you just being there helping with everything to do with the show and the school.
I physically can't do it, Rach.
I know.
Physically can't. I've got a lot of work to do. And also I've got an artist to develop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much. There is so much going on, and I think that's why we just need to sign off. Because we've kind of forgotten how to just relax, which we proved the other night. When
me and Rach are very, very bad at deciding what to watch on TV.
Well, we haven't watched anything for so long because we just haven't had
very similar
evenings.
things. We just can't find them.
Yeah, so the other night, because one of the things I try and like really enjoy when I'm not work at the school is having evenings, because like my schedule is that I don't have evenings. I have the day at home or part of the day at home, and then I'm working and not eating dinner till like 10 p.m. and then sometimes, well, we always watch something in bed, which is terrible, but I know, but that's how I fall asleep. So the other night we were like, oh my God, it was 10 p.m, which I know isn't very early, but we were like, shall we actually get into like a new series? We've not watched a series for so long. Like, let's put the laptops away and let's just sit and watch something. So I think we spent about half an hour trying to find something ourselves.
We text Lauren saying...
Then we text Lauren because
we know she's an absolute TV buff, so she knows all the stuff.
all the good series. So I text her, and within like 10 seconds, she sent me a list of things to watch. I was like, brilliant. One of them on there was Douglas is cancelled. Douglas got cancelled, whatever that is. And,
which I actually really want to watch.
I really want to watch.
Just wasn't in the mood for it.
Right, so...
Turned it on and there's just people in the newsroom and I was like, oh, bore off.
No,
I can't be bothered with this right now.
We agreed. I went, do you know what? I've actually wanted to see that. Lauren said it's really good. You were like, yeah, fair. Okay, let's put it on. We put it on. 10 seconds in, the first line. How was the wedding? Shaun went, no! I was like, what do you mean? So we turned that off.
I just saw it and I was like, I don't want to watch people in suits in an office. I just don't.
So then you put something on which within 10 seconds, like someone's getting shot up in a car and they're skidding around in the desert, and I was just like, I'm not in the mood.
What was talking about?
They were like, you were like, what about this? It was action, and I was like, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, but I didn't even want to watch that either. There was just nothing that was appealing to me. No, you know, when you sit down to, you know, you want to watch something, but you want something just to be put in front of you that is the perfect thing to watch.
Yeah. So, and actually, it's because the other night we put Netflix on to put something on in the background, and you know how Netflix just needs to do the work for us, but it happens it did that day because at the top it just advertised this brand new documentary called Skywalkers.
As soon as, you know, when it automatically plays the trailer and it plays it, and me and Rachel, I don't know if we were outside already, and we just both just like,
yeah, oh my God,
oh wow, so that looks good.
And we watched the whole thing. It was like a nearly 2-hour documentary, and it was brilliant. But then I feel like when that happens, it doesn't happen very often. We're just too picky.
Sometimes I feel like we have to just give in and watch what we recommended.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't like the sound of it.
I know.
We almost need to not read the description.
Yeah. So we went down Lauren's whole list, put a couple on, didn't like it or weren't in the mood for it.
I didn't even give it a chance. I literally watched 5 seconds and turned it off.
Rewatching Skins that we watched when we were at college.
Yeah, nostalgia. Which
actually we are laughing because it is so nostalgic, and we can just have it on in the background while we deep clean the cupboards.
Yeah, Skins is mad. If you grew up because all the actors of Skins are our age,
yeah.
And they were playing teenagers of our age when we were that age. So it feels like you're living it.
Yeah, you're rewatching your colleges, and I mean, very extreme version.
I was going to say.
Well, I wasn't at those sort of parties, but it is.
It's of that era.
Yeah, I knew people like that.
Pre-social media.
Yeah.
Flip phones.
Yeah. Oh, simple times.
The good old days.
So yeah, I think we just need some time to actually
reevaluate.
Yeah.
I don't think much is going to change. I think things are just going to get slicker and better. And as we always do, every year when we finish the show, we think of ways that we can make things better.
Yeah.
And similarly with the podcast, we're going to finish the podcast and think of ways to improve.
Yeah, absolutely.
To end this podcast series, Nala has joined us as a special guest again.
Actually, I think we should just finish it by thanking everyone who, and they know who they are, who sends us a message every single week, sends us feedback every single week. Voice notes, one of them sends us a voice note every week. We've got friends who are so supportive, and honestly, I think if people, I know it's only a handful of people, but if those people weren't as interactive as they have been, I don't think it would have been as easy to continue with it through the
it would have made it almost impossible to carry on.
Yeah.
But we do it for the people, and I hoped that we would reach some of the students at the school, and actually I believe we have.
We have, yeah.
I think it makes a difference to them knowing that they can voice their opinions through us, or they can ask questions that we'll answer on this podcast. Yeah. And I just think it has become something that I always hoped it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hopefully by the time we do the next season, we'd have ironed out a few kinks and realised how we can maybe make it even more beneficial to people.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you to everyone who has listened the whole way through this season.
Yeah, and please don't let that be a reason for you to stop sending us anything. If you have any recommendations or ideas for us for the new season, things you'd like to see, things you don't necessarily like as much, please let us know, because we want to make this as useful to our listeners as possible, and we also want to reach as many people as possible. So any help you've got with that would be greatly appreciated.
One little job for you all over the summer. If you haven't already, give us a little share, give us a little like, maybe tell someone else to listen to the season so far. Maybe there's a guest in there that would really speak to somebody that you know. But yeah, apart from that,
don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on all of our social media profiles.
At What Was I Made For Pod.
Also, spend the time in this summer giving us some email content to read out in the new season via our email address, which is
whatwasimadeforpod@gmail.com.
We won't be back next Wednesday with another episode. We will be back on the 4th of September 2024. Get it in your diaries for the next episode of the new season. So yeah, we will be posting moments though from this past season.
Will we?
Yeah, so there'll be little snippets that will be going up on our What Was I Made For profiles, probably on the podcast pages too, just to keep you entertained throughout your summer holidays. I hope you have an amazing summer, and hopefully the weather gets a bit better as well.
I hope so.
So join us in September as we once again try to answer the question, what was I made for? Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Peace and love to your friends and family
why?
on this.
What Was I Made For is a Reynolds Studios production.